Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we are going to talk about World Tourism Day, which is always celebrated on the 27th of September each year, with these celebrations led by the United Nations World Tourism Organization. Its purpose is to foster awareness among the global community of tourism, social, cultural, political and economic value, and the contribution of this vital sector, the contribution the sector can make on reach sustainable development goals. And to shed more light on this important day, we are joined today by Mr. George Fauzi, is a tourism expert. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
So, sir, this year tourism, the World Tourism Day is celebrated on Friday under the theme of Tourism and Jobs, a Better Future for All. How do you read this year's theme?
In fact, tourism is playing a big role in the life and the economy of most of the countries.
Yes.
And basically, there are around, if I'm talking about Egypt, 5 million people working in the tourism industry, directly and indirectly. So tourism is an important factor for the economy, for the education, and for the information about other culture. So when we are getting tourism or having tourists coming from worldwide, it's an exposure for those who cannot travel to see other nationalities and other nationals. And this is one of the objectives of the United Nations when they created that day, to get population and people from different countries get closer to each other. By the way, the United Nations World Tourism Organization started in 1970, and they established the organization on 27th of September.
So this day is celebrated because they established the organization in this day.
Exactly, exactly. It was established in 1980, the organization 1970, but the Tourism Day was in 1980 when it started.
Yes. So, sir, in your opinion, how will Egypt mark this occasion? How we will celebrate this day?
Usually, in different countries, on that day, entrance to the different sites are free of charge or reduced. They try also to do some kind of celebration through the Ministry of Tourism in the different places. So it's a way of doing or creating the awareness among the population about something called the Tourism Day.
Yes. So, sir, also Egypt jumps 9 spots in tourism competitiveness index rankings, and this report was published in September. So, how do you read this report? To what extent it will affect tourism in Egypt?
Tourism in Egypt is growing at a very fast path, and this we can feel it day after day. Number of tourists visiting the Egyptian Museum, they're visiting the pyramids, even in Luxor, Aswan. And it's not only the cultural tourism, but there is also the tourism on the Red Sea. So Egypt, with the stability that we're living day after day, we feel it more and more of the tourists are coming, traveling to our part of the world.
Sir, can you tell us and shed more light on the tourism boom that Egypt witnessed in the year 2019?
In 2090, though I don't have the information or statistics about the numbers of tourists, but what I can assure you that the number of tourists coming, I think, it's an increase over 20 to 25% from 1918, and we are expecting for 2020 a big boom of the tourism, because also the importance of and the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which I think it will be the most important event that will take place in Egypt. So numbers are increasing because of stability, because of the total environment, and because of the Ministry of Tourism activities to promote the destination worldwide.
So, to what extent also cultural events help in boosting tourism? As I think that Opera Aida will be here in Egypt very soon.
Any event that would happen in any destination, it boosts the tourism, as you mentioned clearly, and which is very true. The Opera Aida, the GEM opening, the Grand Egyptian Museum, and any other event, national event celebrating such openings, by all means will increase the flow of tourism. To give you an example, at this point in time, the number of booking for the Opera Aida, it's fully booked. There are 2 days, and it's very difficult to get any seats.
They are all Egyptians or from worldwide?
Mostly they are foreigners.
They come to see
They're coming to attend the Opera Aida in Luxor.
Yes.
At the Hatshepsut temple is an event, because this is how it was written, where it was written. So, I mean, people that would love to go there, experience the destination and experience the event in itself. So, by all means, it's a plus for us.
So, it's people are coming to Luxor to see Opera Aida and to enjoy the city of Luxor itself.
Of course, nobody is going to. Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. It's by all means, nobody is going to travel only for the opera. The Opera Aida is the main core of the purpose, but at the same time, of course, visiting Luxor, coming to Cairo, because you cannot skip not visiting the pyramids.
Yes.
So it is an event that will open doors for us, though it is for 2 days only, but it's a very good idea, very good concept, and very good promotion to the destination.
So also, sir, Egypt has witnessed the opening of new airports in different destinations here. To what extent this will help in facilitating movement of tourists in Egypt? So how do you see that, like the one we have in the Grand Egyptian, just next to the Grand Egyptian Museum, we have an airport and the new administrative city. So to what extent these will help in facilitating the movement?
I think the opening of the existing already airport, Sphinx Airport, being very close to the Grand Egyptian Museum, being very close to the pyramids area, is an added value. What will happen is charter flights will fly directly, because this will help the tourists coming to the airport, and then it's a very short distance, very short transfer to the different sites and the hotel there in the area.
Also, sir, sports to events in Egypt also plays an important role in attracting tourists and in showing the whole world how secure Egypt is. So can you shed more light on this? Especially, I think that we have in January an important sports event, like the CAF is giving the awards for the World Cup here in Egypt, right?
Exactly. I mean, by all means, no tourist. I mean, there is that we won't have as a country tourists unless there is stability.
Yes.
And we have experienced this since for the last 3 years. With the stability, we have a flow of tourism. So stability and the flow of tourism are related to each other, and this we are experiencing at this point in time. And this is something, by all means, it's very good for the economy. It's very good for the sector, whether hotels, people working in this sector. It's very important.
And I think that people working in tourism sectors are all back to their work after leaving it for many years, and they are now doing well in the jobs, right?
All back to the work, I can't say this exactly, because a big portion when returning back, but unfortunately we need more and more. I mean, this sector needs badly, and I'm not talking only travel agencies or hotels, but from all segments. Now Egypt Air is adding more equipment, more flights. They need more staff. All segments related to the tourism needs more people, more staff. So this is a venue for the population to find more opportunities, work opportunities.
That's why the theme this year is jobs, tourism and jobs, a better future for all. So they are stressing the importance of tourism, also solving the problem of unemployment in many countries. Also in Egypt, I think it's it's a chance for many unemployed youths to come and work in this vital sector.
By all means, and this slogan is very right. Tourism and employments are related to each other, and it's not a difficult industry. So I mean, as long as there are job opportunities, we can hire more and more staff and more people.
Also, sir, do you think that the local Egypt Air, a local company, needs to operate more flights to different destinations to encourage tourists from different places to come? Like in Latin America, we need to operate more flights. How can we do this, and to what extent this will help in boosting tourism in Egypt?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
In fact, there are two axes in this discussion. A, the domestic flights. B, the international flights.
Yes.
Egypt Air now is adding more flights, and they are buying more equipment, more planes. And I believe this will cover the part of the domestic, because there is a problem.
Still in domestic flights.
Still,
we need
big
more.
time. Yeah, we need more and more, because the frequency, the capacity. As long as we have a frequency and we have a capacity, so we can accommodate the number of tourists traveling to Egypt. The other part of the question, which is very good, destinations like Latin America, which is Egypt Air is not really touching, destination like Australia, New Zealand, these far.
We need direct flights to these places.
Whether direct flight, whether with a stopover, but by all means, we need tourists from these destinations. Latin America is a destination that we are not, Egypt Air is not touching, and we need to do this exercise, and we need to push it. Australia also, Egypt Air used to have direct flight, it's not anymore, or via other destination. But yes, both access the destinations, faraway destination, and the domestics are important for the.
And this takes us to the importance of opening new markets for tourism in Egypt, and not to depend on a certain market and on certain type of tourists. So are we doing our homework in this domain?
This part from the private sector, I believe yes, because I mean the European tourists is really on total saturation into Egypt.
Yes.
So many of the agencies and many people, they start to travel to Latin America, to Southeast Asia, to Australia, to Japan, to bring more and more of tourists. So, but I believe the Ministry of Tourism need to do more effort in this respect.
So, sir, what about preparations for the winter season, and how do you see reservations till now?
Reservation at this point in time, it's good, and especially for the December period, which is the Christmas and the New Year. And we see, I mean, most of the hotels and the Nile cruises are fully booked, and this is a good sign. Now what we are looking for is the period after the New Year, which we want by all means to be filled, and we're still waiting for more and more requests and inquiries for this period.
Also, Egypt's Minister of Tourism announced early September the new hospitality criteria for Egyptian hotels, which have not been updated since 2006. So to what extent this will affect tourism? It's
a very good project by the minister and by the ministry, because what happened is that the grade of the hotels, the 3-star, the 4-star, and the 5-star, were not appropriately given to the appropriate hotels or cruises. Now the Ministry of Tourism is reviewing all the hotels, all the Nile cruises, to give it the appropriate stars. And accordingly, the tourist will feel confident when a travel agency or a tour operator will give him 5-star or 4-star. I'm offering you 5-star hotel or a property. He'll feel, yes, this is the right thing.
So, sir, also tell us more about Nile cruises and to what extent it is attractive to tourists, especially the one that operates from Cairo till Luxor and Aswan.
Most of the cruises are not operating from Cairo. I mean, they're
sometimes it works two times a year, I think.
Exactly, right, it's only 2 times. 90% of the cruises, or 95%, they do the Luxor Aswan. Very few, they do it from Cairo, and there is a reason behind it.
Yes.
Nowadays, people, they don't have the luxury of spending 15 days or 12 days as vacation
Yes.
on a boat, plus 2 or 3 other days in Cairo. So we were talking about 20 days average, which is not, most of the tourists nowadays, they have a maximum of a week or 8 days maximum. So that's the reason that we are not pushing, or they are not selling much of the very long cruise,
Yes.
but we are selling more of the short cruise, the 5 days or the 4 days.
Also, Egypt's Minister of Tourism, Rania Al-Mashat, participated this week in the opening of the annual Concordia Summit 2019 upon an invitation from the President of the Women Political Leaders Global Forum, given the importance of Egyptian tourism sector for Egypt's economy. And this came within the framework of the 74th United Nations General Assembly in New York. So what is the importance of Egypt's participations in such summits?
Egypt's participation in any summit
Yes.
is very important. The more and more people see officials, Egyptian officials traveling, meeting, discussing, being interviewed, it gives us a publicity. It gives us the sense of confidence in the system itself, in the country. When we have the Minister of Tourism traveling, discussing, speaking in a good language and with clear ideas about what she wants to do about the tourism, this is the best promotion we can do for our destination.
Also, the people-to-people campaign is part of Egypt tourism program reform launched in November 2018 to market Egypt as a prime tourist destination, as well as shed light on the diversity of the Egyptian people. So tell us more about this campaign, to what extent it has achieved its targets.
Still, it did not reach its top or the climax of the situation, but I believe it's a good approach, because we need to teach our population who is a tourist, what the tourist is coming, and the tourist is a normal individual, regular person coming, trying to explore the destination and to mingle with the population itself.
Yes.
And this is something, it's very good. People to people is the objective of the tourism. Tourism is not only coming and seeing the pyramids or coming and seeing the museum. It's coming and exploring and seeing the population itself, the Egyptian regular. There is now even a new trend, the backstreet food. I mean, we have tourists coming, going in very regular restaurant, and they want to taste, they want to try, they want to discuss people in very local restaurants.
Yes, also we can't talk about tourism without mentioning Tutankhamun exhibition in Paris, which surpasses 1.3 million visitors. So, sir, it was a successful experience, and also it is a message to the whole world to come and see the Grand Egyptian Museum. So, how do you see this?
This was one of the best moves by the Ministry of Antiquity. And at that time I was in Paris, and I tried personally to get a ticket. I couldn't. One ticket I couldn't get it, because I wanted to see the display, how it is. And the queues in front of the museum, you had to book it in advance. And the figure of 1.3 million is a very right figure, because many of the French people that I met, they said it was a very big success. We need more and more of such gesture, because this is the way it is. You don't want to come? I'll come to you. I'll show you what we have. And this is to open the appetite. Let's go to Egypt. Let's visit. If we see only this part, what we will discover when we'll be in Egypt.
Yes. Also, sir, in the last 2 days, we saw the collapse of one of the major companies in tourism sector. To what extent the collapse of this company can affect tourism in the Middle East and Egypt? Without mentioning its name, please.
No, of course.
Yes.
Yes, I do understand. I was asked twice not to say. I have a different opinion. What I've been reading so far, that this will affect the tourism in Egypt badly and all this. My opinion is, a tourist who wants to come to Egypt, he will come. I mean, it's not only this company that are operating into Egypt, but there are many other companies, perhaps not with the same magnitude, but somebody who wants to travel to the destination, he will travel. If it's not with this company, it will be with that company. If not with that company, with another company. And nowadays also with the online and all this, really it's not a very difficult issue. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but this is what I think.
And also it will affect not only if there isn't any effect, it will not be on Egypt only. I think it will be worldwide.
It is, as a matter of fact, it's affecting worldwide. By all means, there is a negative aspect of it.
But not on Egypt only or any other country. It's
no, we cannot say only Egypt, because even, I mean, it's like any other destination.
Yes.
But again, if somebody wants to travel to a destination, he will travel it, whether with that company or not. So I don't see, okay, perhaps it's cheaper to fly on them because of the charter flights, but I'm sure people will reinvent another airline, and there will be other opportunities and other ways and means to travel. So it's not only, it never started with this company or with another company.
Yes. So, sir, in your opinion, what are the challenges that still face tourism sector here in Egypt? And we need to work on these challenges in the coming period.
I think one of our main challenges, again, it's an opinion, Cairo Airport.
Yes.
We need to address this issue, by all means, the arrival. We need to address that when you arrive as an individual, not with organized tour, the tourists go out of the airport and then he found something really organized like any other countries. You go there, I mean.
And so services, you mean?
It's not only service, transportation. I travel extensively, and whenever I come back, there is always, I see people, tourists, youngest tourists who are coming to explore, and taxi driver are putting them right and left and offering them, and it's a bad image. Or perhaps in one of the terminal you have to push the cart, you have to push it for something like 10 minutes. They need to do something about this airport. By all means, it has to be.
We have to make to improve
more
the
organization. It's more organization at the airport.
Yes.
This is one thing. I think the airport is an issue. Another issue: create the awareness among the population that I mean, a tourist is not an object. It's a human being like us. We need to help him. We need to serve him. We need to show him how Egyptians are courteous.
Yes.
I mean, from any aspect, we have to give him a service. That's what I think.
Okay, finally, I'd like to thank you, Mr. George Fawzi, tourism expert. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Stay tuned for more is coming up on Night TV International.